regional champions. Guys, let's hear some.
Welcome everybody to MogTalk. Today is December 1st, 2018. And if you guys, god damn it, I knew you guys were gonna mess up the intro. Already laughing. It's alright.
I'm reading chat. Alright, sorry.
Okay. Guys, if you haven't seen MogTalk before, we're a show based around the Final Fantasy XIV community where we discuss everything from Savage Raiding to Chocobo Racing to PvP, of course. And today we have a wonderful cast with us, the champions of the FRC, as well as my co-host, which was also shoutcasting with me at the FRC +1. Before we get into intros and everything, I want you guys to just take a second. This is going to be a very busy show. We have a lot of people on today, and so they're going to laugh, and we're going to get into a meme, and it's going to be 10 minutes of dead time of us just giggling and laughing, and people posting pictures of me in their Discord image, like Mateo here. But we're going to do our best to keep it together. But first, let's go ahead and, Plus, can you introduce yourself to everybody real quick before we get into Synergy 6?
Yeah, sure. So I was the commentator of the 2018 North American Feast Regional Championship alongside Frosty, both during the online semifinals in September and the finals at the North American Fan Festival just about 2 weeks ago here.
God damn it. All right. Plus, thank you, man. So Plus is going to be on today, kind of just asking questions and kind of co-hosting a little bit here. And then let's go ahead and introduce Synergy 6 here. We'll go down alphabetically. So we're going to start with Mr. Air. Air, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Air Weaver.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a healer main.
Mm-hmm.
And a paladin main.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
All right. That's good. It works. All right. Divine, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Divine ZR from Gilgamesh. I play a lot of Feast. Fuck front lines. And we're champions. Woo!
Oh my god, dude. All right. Lidvara.
Okay, hi, I'm Lambara Stacia. Yes, it's pronounced Stacia, not Stasia, just so you know. I only play Astro, and I've been trying to play White Mage, and I love all these guys, and that's it.
Oh, good. Good. My fucking Teo.
Well, I mean, that's a good introduction, right? I'm Mateo. I play a bunch of things. I like to play Black Mage, Dragoon, and Dark Knight exclusively. But I do dabble in almost everything. And then just to kind of echo Limvara here, I do love all these guys too.
Oh, okay. It's good. It's good. You got to love each other, right? Nikosa.
Shout out to Rafiki, by the way.
Oh, Rafiki. God. Nikosa, yeah. Introduce yourself.
I'm Nikosa. I love most of these guys here.
Wait, who do you love?
wait, what?
I'm a ranged main, I guess. And
Nick not Bard. Lol.
That's about it.
Okay. Stragus.
Hi, I'm Stragus Reyes. I'm a ninja main, but ninja's garbage, so I'm not gonna play that until it's buffed. I love these guys as well. I'm not like Nick and just trying to hate someone here, but yeah.
I'm not racist, by the way.
Oh, okay. I'm glad we established that for Nikosa. Everybody on stream, so you know this, Nikosa is not racist. So carry that on with whatever you'd like to. Oh, jeez. All right. Guys, today we're going to be talking about a handful of different things. We're going to be discussing kind of the FRC event, how all that went down, discussing with the team kind of their strategies, thoughts, and everything, as well kind of get into the general aspect of PvP and the current state of it. Hopefully you guys enjoy the show. It should be pretty interesting, if not full of like 50,000 memes. which I'm kind of expecting here. All right. So before we start anything else, I want to ask all you guys kind of how you're feeling right now. It's been like 2 weeks since the FRC. Has that high kind of died off? And I'm gonna let Mateo start this off.
What the fuck?
Yep.
Has the hype died down? No, we're still like super excited. I mean, I am. It was an amazing time. It was really, really the highlight. Like I keep saying, it was meeting everybody. Everybody's just amazing, and everybody's really, really cool. No, man, kind of missing everybody really, really badly. That's for sure. Playing Feast has not been the same. That's for sure. Like
it feels weird. It feels like you're missing something.
Yes, yeah. It kind of feels like, this is gonna sound kind of strange, but it kind of feels like, all right, well, solo queue ? So I don't even know. Yeah. So
I mean, because like there's no other tournament. Like the FRC is like the end of it for now, and there's nothing else coming up. So like, feels weird to even like.
Yeah,
want to care.
It feels like it's done, right? It feels like you guys have completed.
It feels like we beat the game.
Right. Like I mean, it's interesting because we have to start like putting up these things for you guys to look forward to, right? And I don't know what we can really do because the rest of the FRC isn't going to finish until March. I think the JP FRC is in March, right? So
Right.
it's a little bit bittersweet. You guys have won. You've done everything you needed to do, but there's like nothing left. Oh, God damn it. I knew Mateo was going to blow up at some point. What are you laughing at, Mateo? Oh, okay. Sir, is that right? Come on.
Sorry, I needed a second.
Yeah, okay.
I needed a second. You'll notice it eventually. You'll notice it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Jesus, Air.
Oh, God, Air.
I bet Air's just sitting back there with like Photoshop or something and just kind of moving over there and just messing around. And that's what he's doing.
I just want to know if Stragus has noticed.
Oh, I definitely have.
Okay. Good to know.
I mean, it's a nice selfie pic. I mean, you look professional, Stragus. I mean, you look like you could probably go out and do some modeling of some kind. You probably could.
Okay.
You probably could. But all right, so I mean, yeah, the future of PvP does look. I mean, we could go ahead and just hit that real quick. I mean, that's kind of what you guys are feeling at the moment. Is that you've come off this big roller coaster where you hit the very top and you start going down, and then there's just like nothing left to go. Look forward to, because I mean, all you guys can really do competitive wise for PvP is solo queue, and it's not really comparable to Light Party, right?
Pretty much.
Not even close. Yeah.
It's really not
Yeah.
not even comparable.
I mean, you go in there and you're expecting like to have people around you that are going to kind of fit. I mean, you're used to people fitting into a strategy or fitting and working together and going for a goal, but solo queue is just trying to like piece that together with people you don't know. That has to kind of feel crappy. Yeah.
I personally despise solo queue because it's like, for instance, like solo queue, you're supposed to work as a team to do anything. So you play solo queue, so you're pretty much playing by yourself in a sense, and you can't actually do anything by yourself. Like you can make these plays or try to trick people, but you can't do like even if you do it, it doesn't matter because the team has to also be on point and actually following you.
Right.
And you can't expect that in a solo queue, which sucks.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one thing, right? Like for us, sometimes on comms, we don't even speak English. You know what I mean? Like, so sometimes when we're doing like call-outs and stuff like that, we're not actually even speaking English, but
You're speaking something you understand.
oh,
Right?
yeah,
I understand.
exactly. But we do kind of get the point. Yeah, we
Yes.
and it works out sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, just to kind of hit on that small tangent real quick, solo queue is kind of an interesting thing because Feast is made to be a solid team game where people play in roles, right? They try to do stuff and they have to work with the team. And if they can work with the team and do their own job really well, then they succeed at solo queue. But most people just focus on doing their job really well, and then they just get mad and they're fighting not only the other team, but they're fighting their own team. It feels like almost, and so it feels kind of odd. PvP toxic. All right. So most of you guys are feeling kind of like in a little empty, like everything's been taken away, and now we're just kind of sitting around and wondering what to do next.
Mm-hmm.
Divine,
Yeah, I miss these guys so much. Like,
you guys
I
should
don't
do a
know
meetup. It's okay. You guys can all afford plane
we've
tickets.
talked about it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Okay.
kind of hard to get everyone together for something.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's kind of what FanFest is. It's like the opportunity, everyone's going to be there, right? You all just kind of agree, hey, we're all going to go there, and then you can meet all these different types of people, and then it's gone, and you have this post-con depression, which I think most people
It's an
got.
excuse, yeah, to meet up with people.
Yeah.
It's an excuse to get everyone together, but now we don't really have that for another 2 years. So it's like, what do we do now? It's just, it's really like a void, and it kind of sucks.
We just meme. More memes.
Memes.
Yeah.
Tons of memes. Okay. All right, so let's talk a little bit about kind of before you guys got into the FRC. I want to kind of focus on that for a good portion here. I mean, before you guys went on stage, before all that stuff, there was the online semifinals that you guys played. When you guys were playing that, you did very well in that as well. Is there anything that you can say? I guess I should ask you guys first before we get into what you might have learned from it. Kind of, how did you guys enjoy doing the semifinals online? Did that feel good? Did that feel, I guess, do you have any complaints about it is my main question.
Well, my only complaint would be is that every day prior to the semifinals and every day afterward, my internet wasn't working pretty much at all because of Comcast. And I'm surprised it even worked a little bit even on semifinals because I was still lagging then, and that's all I have to say because having to rely on the internet there and then maybe getting disconnected and losing because of that would have been depressing.
Yeah, honestly, the most stressful part of the semifinals was, are we gonna DC? Are we gonna lag? What's gonna happen? Like, we were just like, just get through this and the internet can go out. I don't care. But it was really scary. It was just really scary.
I mean, there's nothing you could really do about that though, right? I mean, that's pretty much everywhere. You have to have like the internet has to just work if you're doing any kind of online activity at all, especially in competitions and stuff. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, once you guys got past that, though, you don't have to worry about having good internet anymore. Is Stragus the one that has the worst internet out of the entire group?
Absolutely.
Yo, it's fine now.
Okay. All right. Is that it from the semifinals? That was just you guys were stressed out about the internet, and that was it?
I think I'll just say for the group, I think we felt pretty confident. You know what I mean? Like we went in with the confidence and stuff like that. And in some aspect, it was almost like we were more nervous for the semifinals than the actual finals, just based on everyone and like talking about it afterwards, just because of like what Stragus and Navarre mentioned, just about the connection issues and the BCs and everything like that.
Things out of your control.
Yeah, that's what it came down to, and like just kind of seeing how everything evolved in the semifinals. I think we had every reason to be kind of nervous. Because it was like the first quote unquote spotlight, sponsored spotlight, I should say, on PvP. And we felt the weight of it really. So, yeah.
I mean, it was the first like official, hey, this is PvP. You guys are going to be officially rewarded for doing well.
Yes.
Yeah, the semifinals was the only day of that 4-month span that my internet didn't just cut out entirely. So,
I mean, we all are pretty happy about the luck that we had with internet. I mean, I don't think any of the competitors during the FRC had any internet issues, right? So it kind of it worked out. People were able to get it going, and the internet gods blessed everybody, I guess. I was, of course, worried about that during the actual finals. Funny enough, I mean, we did have server maintenance, I think, a day or two before when we were trying to plan and do stuff together. Plus, you remember that, right?
Yeah, that was we had to get into like crunch mode the morning of.
Yeah, because
get everything.
We scheduled out rehearsal, and then while we were doing rehearsal, it was like emergency maintenance. So we couldn't log into the game, and we couldn't get all the audio, and we couldn't get everything else set up. And I was like, please, dear God, let this not happen Saturday morning.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. All right, well.
I mean, we got some stuff set up and everything, but we weren't able to get in game and set that up until we were actually there Saturday morning. But that's just, I thought it was pretty interesting. But okay, so
wait 1 sec, Frosty.
Sure.
Something else, other than the internet stuff, I kind of felt like the whole season climb wasn't the best system to use.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time we'd queue up and there was no teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was plenty of teams queuing, but they're not queuing at the same time.
Right.
So it was very easy for you know,
goofy stuff to happen.
Goofy and questionable things to happen. So I think the system wasn't the best, and it should have been possibly different.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Square will consider that for the future. And there's been solutions thrown out there, like time windows. You can only queue, you know, certain days and times.
Mm-hmm.
That way, you kind of funnel all the teams to queue at the same time, and queues are active for that, you know, those portions of the day. There's other solutions too, but yeah, that's just probably my biggest complaint, I think, for the light party season.
Yeah.
My biggest complaint would be that they should have warned us that once you hit diamond that you can't play with anyone who isn't platinum or higher.
That we had nobody at one point that we could play. There were no teams we could physically actually queue against at one point. And once people, I think some people demoted and people left, and we had nobody to play, so we were just kind of stuck there, just like watching everyone else and waiting. And it was just, that was also kind of stressful for us too, or for me at least. It was like, what's gonna happen? What's, you know?
I mean, diamond could only play platinum. Is that right?
Yep.
No.
But that was platinum or higher.
Yeah, we could, but we couldn't. But nobody was platinum, is what I mean. Like,
oh, okay.
Was,
okay.
Yeah, like everyone was like gold, and yeah, so we couldn't play anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a good point. The whole light party season seemed, I mean, in all honesty, it's, for the most part, besides a couple of weird situations in the background, I think that whole season did have lots of drama, lots of things that were going on in the community that we were all just kind of hoping wouldn't happen, but of course it's going to happen. But I mean, the best teams, some of the best, I would say, yeah, pretty much the top people who got into the semifinals probably deserve to be in the semifinals. They all kind of worked for it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, was there anyone you're like, hey, they really shouldn't have been there? There were other teams out there, except for that one little situation that we'll just leave in the background for right now because I don't want to stir that shit up. But for the most part, I mean, the teams that are out there seemed pretty, hey, these guys are competitive teams and they should be competing.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, I think all the teams were, you know, they had light party experience. They were dedicated. They were good guys. You know, we met all of them. Yeah. And you know, they deserve to be in Vegas.
Yeah, and to be at the semifinals too.
And to be at the semifinals,
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, I mean, the semifinals, it seemed to go off pretty well overall. Like you guys said, no internet connection issues or anything went through, and it had some pretty interesting games that I think were at least exciting for people to watch, especially if they didn't know PvP at all. So when going into that, I guess, Plus, do you have a question? I'm going to keep asking questions. Sorry, I've completely forgot that. Plus, do you have a question on you want to ask about the semifinals?
Yeah, I guess like before and after the semifinals, did you feel, because the semifinals, winning that itself was a pretty big deal because you guys got the trip to Vegas just by securing one of those two spots there from the semis. Did you guys feel more pressure, I guess, going into the semifinals? Of course, like with the internet and stuff, or did you feel more relieved after you won it because you knew you were going to Vegas and this and that?
I think the one good thing about like the semifinals was that we knew who we were going to face, so we were able to prepare accordingly, right? Like we had the top three teams were, you know, going to have a round robin and everything like that. So in that regard, it was quote unquote easier because we could prepare accordingly. But for the finals, right, like it was an unknown for us. We knew one team that we were going to face, but we didn't know from the other two which one we were going to face. So it was a little bit harder to adjust in a way. So that's one thing that was easier with the semifinals.
All right. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of go ahead.
I mean, I kind of felt like there wasn't, I mean, for me personally, like there wasn't a lot of pressure or anything like that. It was more just once we secured the semifinal spot, it was really like, it was a really good feeling because, you know, getting to go to Vegas and meeting everybody was probably like the most awesome part, I think, of the whole thing. And like the PvP tournament is kind of like a sort of a bonus to that. Okay. So that's why we're like mostly excited that we like qualified and stuff. And I don't know if anyone was. Maybe there was some people that were a little bit nervous. I'm not sure. But yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's actually a pretty good, interesting point. Is that when you guys won at the semifinals, did you guys feel like you've already won? Like you're good?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Not won the whole thing, but like won.
Yeah,
we already won at that point. We just didn't win. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Because I mean, that is an awesome reward to be sent out to FanFest and not have to pay for your ticket and all the other travel arrangements and everything. And be able to just go out there and enjoy yourselves. That's a pretty big victory, right? That's not small. You get to go meet all your other friends, and you guys knew all the other teams. Everyone that was in all the other teams, you guys knew everyone that was there.
Yep, pretty much. Except for Primal people, I knew everyone else though.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, you guys hung out with them. You guys have played games. Well, hung out as in like in Discord and stuff. You guys have talked to them. You've had a lot of different experience over like years.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a camaraderie with all of the teams actually. A lot of respect for all of them.
Right. And it wasn't like you guys were going up because this is kind of an odd situation when you go into these competitive sports and everything, or competitive esports. You're going against other teams, and you might have rivalries. What can I say that right? Against each other. But this was more like just a whole bunch of friends going up there and then playing against each other on stage. That's what it seemed like to me. Did you have like is there any like, I don't know, was there any sense of like, hey, I want to beat the fuck out of this other team?
Actually, the opposite for me personally, because Be Yourself has some of my best friends on it, and I was really worried about the potential match that we would have against them, like potentially. I was really worried because I didn't want to just. I wanted to win, but at the same time, it was like.
You wanted them to win?
Kind of
Right. Yeah. Because it is a weird feeling just facing off against your friends, and then kind of you're happy you won, but you feel bad that you made your friends lose.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Air, you haven't said too much, man. You know,
he's shy.
You're a little shy. Yeah, Divine, Air, you guys are a little bit shy there. Air, how'd you feel going into the semifinals, dude?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. All right. Divine.
Oh, great.
You guys are being kind of boring. I'm just gonna say it. I mean, a couple of Z's going over my head when I hear you guys talk. Come on, this is Divine.
I don't know if Divine actually remembers much of Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say why. He just yeah.
Right. I will call Divine, and I wouldn't understand a single word he was saying.
Really?
Where are you?
Yeah.
I'm downstairs. Where are you?
Jesus, you just drinking the whole time?
Not the whole time, but I enjoyed myself.
Alido.
Sure about that?
We all enjoy this one.
Okay. Air, what about you, dude?
Dropping Heganbanas. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. Air, were you drinking the whole time too?
I'm underage, so no.
Shut the fuck.
Oh my god. All right. So I mean, you guys went through the semifinals. You guys have won. Then you have how many months? 2 months, right? To just sit there and prep, and just practice and get ready. Going on stage. Did you guys have any experience going on stage and competing before? Any of you?
No.
I was in this small little FanFest tournament last time, but I just had like a thrown together on the spot FC group with me. But I experienced that to an extent, last time.
Okay. So I'm going to take that as pretty much, I think, Plus was on, I was on stage for that too, but it was definitely different, right? It wasn't like,
it was a world of difference.
Yeah. You weren't going up for something that was really competitive. You're just going up there and you're trying and you're just going to do your best. And it was it felt thrown together compared to this.
It was definitely thrown together, yeah. I think the only reward was like a shirt.
Yeah.
So,
it was
definitely different this time, higher stakes and everything.
Okay, so going up there, you guys, did you do anything to like mentally prep yourself for being on stage and being in front of everybody?
No,
No.
just depression.
Just what?
I was, I'm just really shy and nervous.
Oh, okay.
The whole time,
I
anxiety.
think SiXX was the only one who was actually really, really nervous that morning.
Yeah,
Really?
It's
I
kind
was-
of funny. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
was
Go ahead.
stressing out about SiXX. I was like, SiXX, please calm down. I was so scared for him.
So it's kind of funny. Nick and I were talking, before you went to Vegas and everything. Like, we're talking. Okay, we have to take care of Air. We have to take care of Air. He's such a good player, but he's so shy. We were so worried about Air. I mean, he's shy, right? But, and then we were like not expecting Stragus to react the way that he did.
Tell me his reaction. I didn't see it.
Well, I mean,
What was he doing?
I think it's just expectations and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of got to him, and
It's just
he
that
cleaned
people
it up,
have
yeah.
such high expectations for me. So like anxiety is like it gets really high at that time. And like, I didn't want to really do anything else like the night before. So just like stayed alone. It's like pretty depressing. I hate it.
aw.
I
But
think,
ultimately, go ahead.
But I mean, like, sure, you could say that, like, once you actually sat down and you actually were playing, it kind of went away, right? You just kind of felt like you were.
Oh, yeah. My
someone
frustration
down.
killed my nervousness, so there was that.
Your frustration?
Oh, yeah, that was the first game.
The-
That
the
was
first
frustration.
person. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm surprised you guys weren't more worried about me, honestly.
I think I was.
worried about you.
I think I was worried about Lynn. I was like, Lynn might have some problems. I don't know why, but someone planted that in my head that Lynn was going to be nervous or something. I forget.
I thought I was gonna be nervous, but I actually wasn't. Like leading up to it, at least, because once I'm on stage and like playing, like you said, it's whatever, it goes away. But I thought leading up to it, I'd be nervous, but I felt nothing. The morning up, I was just like, I don't know why, I was just fine.
Okay. What about you, Divine?
I was nervous at first, but after like one match, it was felt warm and felt like
Alcohol usually makes you feel warm.
What?
I'm saying you might have drunk a little bit, but when you went on stage, did you guys all like not go out and party? Did you all like go to sleep on time and you're all prepped and professional?
Hell no. I was like, guys, better sleep tonight, especially Nick. Fucking Nick.
I barely slept.
I barely slept.
Yeah, likewise.
I actually slept. I almost never had problems sleeping, so I was fine. But I was worried about everyone else. I was like, guys, please go to bed early.
If early's like 2 o'clock, then yeah.
Like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Or in Nick's case, 5 a.m. I mean,
Yeah.
We had to wake up early that day.
Yeah.
yeah, we had to be there at 8. So.
8 a.m.
Well, 7:50.
Yeah, quarter to something like that.
7:50.
Yeah, I had about an hour's sleep that night. It was pretty rough.
Oh my god.
It was rough. I don't know. Plus, if you had good sleep that night or not.
No, man. No, I did not. I did
I
not.
mean,
have
Plus
good
was late.
Yeah, he was. I remember that. I was like, am I going to go up there by myself this time? Oh. What about you, Air? Air, did you sleep okay?
Yes, I did.
This guy, man. This guy. All right. Plus, do you have a question you want to ask him? Help the FRC. Because I got one lined up, but I didn't know if you wanted to squeeze one in real quick.
I guess, did you guys have any plans if maybe one of you was feeling a bit too nervous to play, that you had a backup comp or like a backup roster to go with?
Yeah, did you guys plan on anyone like completely flaking out?
Yeah, we kind of did actually. I mean, the good thing about our team was that we had 6 people, right? So there's positives and negatives to that, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, like we had 6 players, and we're pretty versatile and can play multiple things. So we weren't too afraid of someone flaking at this last second, and we were perfectly fine with it too. Like if someone didn't feel comfortable, we weren't going to hold it against them, and we would just bring someone else in. So yeah, we were kind of prepared.
Okay. And you guys were prepped to do this the morning of?
Yep.
All right, that's pretty cool. I would have thought, nah, you guys either did it or didn't do it, and then it would be all just thrown together and made the best of it. If Stragus decided that he was gonna get nervous and start like breaking out in hives and run away. Stragus, I mean, so I guess yeah, you're right. If one of you guys went out, I can kind of think of all the different combinations you guys could probably do. If any of you guys couldn't play it, you guys could probably fill that hole somehow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty good about filling holes. Yeah.
Jesus.
For the team.
Oh my god.
Hell, we're pretty good at like if a range spot was missing, we could fill that hole, or if healer was missing, if Air didn't want to play, okay. Someone else said hole. I'm just
position.
Oh my god! All right,
we're versatile. We're versatile.
Okay, versatile. I like that.
Jesus.
Okay. So I mean, you guys did have two different comps completely in two different games. In the first game, you had Air playing Paladin, right? And in the second game, you had Stragus playing Warrior. So I mean, and you guys swapped out completely. Did you guys have these comps pre-planned like way ahead of time?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we planned it. We talked about it and everything because we wanted everyone to play, right? But we had 6 people, and that was, so Mateo and I played together for the first match, and then we sat out for the second. So, which was a decision we made like together. We all talked about it and worked it out. So. Okay.
I mean, when you're going into this, you guys had. Was it just because you guys wanted to play Paladin and try it out and just see what it looked like on stage, or were you confident that Paladin was going to do good in a competitive environment?
Well, we practiced it a lot actually, so we knew like it would be good with Astro especially, because we feel like Astro needs a defensive tank like Paladin to be safer in a way. But
okay.
I mean, I don't know if you guys saw like Air's player card, but he is the rank 1 Paladin for North America. So
is that really what it said?
That's actually what it said.
And, so we felt confident with him going as Paladin, and with Lin on Astro.
I wonder how Sir felt about that.
Air's Paladin is the most obnoxious Paladin I've ever faced. It's so annoying, dude. Impossible to really kill anyone.
I mean, there's this other Paladin that comes to mind sometimes. I can't remember his name right now.
Oh, okay.
I think he's been ranked 1 a few times, but I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh, just some guy out there.
But yeah.
Is he on Aether?
Might be on Primal actually.
He might be on Chaos, dude.
Oh, on Chaos? Okay.
Yeah.
JP, man.
No, he was gonna Crystal, I thought.
Oh, he's gonna Crystal. Yeah.
Oh, Crystal Paladin. All right.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, another thing about that really quick is we felt there's like the thing with our team is we had so many comps like leading up to the actual competition. We had so many comps that we were practicing and thinking about and everything like that. Just because as a team we're really versatile in what we can do, and we felt that okay, Astro. All right, we're gonna play an Astro, and we think our firm belief is that Astro plus Warrior is just way too combustible. You get to culling and it's anyone's game. Skill is at the window and they can just kind of blow someone up.
Okay.
And then the other thing with the DPS combo that we chose is Samurai Black Mage. We just felt that it complements the Paladin well because we don't need tank damage as much. Do you know what I mean? So we felt kind of safer with it. The Black Mage myself, I could turret a little bit more with the Paladin there and, not be as weary of my positioning and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know if you want to say something about that, Divine.
Yeah, I felt safer with Paladin as well because it's 9 buttons, anything can happen. These kind of matches.
Jeez. Air, while you're changing your profile pictures, I wanted to ask you, why do you think that Paladin was strong in Light Party?
I was just bored, yo.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
We do feel like Paladin is actually viable in Light Party.
Okay.
It's debatable whether it's above Warrior or not. We do think Dark Knight possibly is third. Although we've seen like Dark Knight work in certain comps, but maybe it doesn't work with as many comps as a warrior or a paladin might. So, but we do think it's good.
Okay.
We just chose to go with warrior in the finals though, because I guess we practiced it more. We felt a little bit more confident with it. And I mean, part of it was also like, if we're gonna go on to the next question, I think you had is we didn't get to practice as much as we wanted to. It was kind of difficult to like set up scrims and stuff like that. So we only got to practice certain comps, and based on that is what we went with for the finals, based on like the 2 comps that we probably practiced the most.
Okay.
We did have a lot of other comps we were playing. We had some red mage in there, some machinist. Not so much Dark Knight. We didn't really get to practice that, but ultimately,
which was actually a shame.
Yeah. So yeah, ultimately, those 2 comps that we played with were probably the most played during like scrim matches.
Most practiced.
Most practiced, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess you go back just a real quick on the comps and everything else too. You changed it up, and I kind of want to know why you decided the comp that you decided in the first game, and why you decided on the comp you decided on the second game. Why did you choose for who to play when and what to play in those different games? Is there a reason you're like, hey, we're going up against trash tiers, we want to play this comp. We're going up against AMP or Be Yourself. I mean, you guys didn't really know until that point. We want to play this comp.
I believe trash tiers were in Black Mage, correct?
Yeah.
So in my opinion, at least, I'm pretty sure it's amongst all of us, but I feel like Paladin is better against Black Mage because sleep is so strong, and like Paladin can do something in that CC duration to keep someone alive. So it's one of the things Paladin has over, like, say, Warrior. Because Warrior, the only thing you can really do is like maybe stun someone, home game, link throw. And other than that, they're probably dead anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, and at the same time, Black Mage is a counter pick to Warrior. You know what I mean? I can build all I want from him because his tank stance is not, it's not defensive in any form. So it's a counter in that regard because he can silence me. They didn't have a silence on their team, but they also kind of had a pseudo counter to our Paladin if they cleave him while he covers.
Right.
But that's about it. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how the approach was there. We felt, like I said earlier, we felt that our Astro needed a little bit of help. She doesn't need help. She's like an amazing Astro, but we felt with the changes, right? Like we felt that because we didn't practice Dark Knight. Go ahead, Dwayne.
Yeah, like it's too much damage. Astro needs like shields, and testing it with Y Mage, it was much better to run with Warrior. But we didn't really practice as much as we should have with Dark Knight. We just saw the 15 seconds TBN nerf, and we're like, forget this. But it's hard, like playing Dark Knight, like, all they got is TBN. They also have, they have stun, but
we had some really good experience with Dark Knight though, like towards the end, but we had lack of practice with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we shouldn't have rushed, but.
Yeah, we shouldn't have rushed to the assumption that it was bad and just at least try it out. But I wanted to add a little bit onto the comps we chose. I really wanted to play at least a little bit, but I knew that Air's White Mage was considerably better than mine. Like, I didn't feel confident with White Mage at all. And so I told them straight up, like, I feel like you guys need to run with Air for the grand finals because Astro is not as good with Warrior as White Mage. And my White Mage is not up to par as Air's is. So that's why I played in the first matchup and not the grand, because I wanted Air to play because it would have been better that way.
Okay. Air, how does it feel the switch from Paladin to White Mage over 2 games? Was it hard for you to adjust from a tank role to go into a healing role, or was it just like nothing?
I'm pretty used to it from solo queue, so yeah, it was nothing.
That's the most words I got out of him so far. I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing good, man. Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty cool that you guys were able to get all 6 people in there too to get into that second one. I mean, when you guys went into that second game, that comp any comp with Warrior, I would say, is an aggressive comp because that's kind of how Warrior plays. It's super aggressive, it feels like, to me at least. So did you guys pretty much say, hey, we need to kill them as quickly as possible and this is how we're going to play it? Or did you have... Well, okay, let me ask this a little bit differently. Plus and I had this thought. We were thinking, hey, these guys are going to go into these matches on stage and just sit back and not attack each other for like a minute because they want to play super defensive. But it felt like every game was very aggressive. Were you guys planning to play back a little bit and just be super safe about anything, or were you just like, this is a regular light party match and we're going to go into it?
I guess in terms of strategy, it really just depends, right?
The only time we play like defensively is if we're in the lead, because at that point you're forcing them into your side of the map, forcing them out of position, and then it's better for them to be out of position and for you to counter and have more opportunities to kill. It's like once you're in the lead, there's literally no point in going up, like moving up past your base, in my opinion.
Because then you're putting your healer in a bad spot. They can just swap onto him,
right?
And then we're just running back like, oh fuck, our healer died.
Yeah.
And then they
Yeah, the goal wasn't to 600 the games for
right.
sure. They were mostly just to get a good lead and then like keep that lead. If the 600 like opportunity approaches, like if we see it, we go for it obviously, and we did one game. But usually we want to be like at that safe like 500, 525 medal count, and then just kind of, because it's much easier for the healer, to heal that amount of medals and then not have to heal melee medals. It's really, really difficult.
Yeah, melee getting medals is pretty rough because you have that extra 10% increased damage from getting those 2 stacks, and they're always in a range to get attacked. They're not like ever in a safe spot. Range can kind of hop around like Nakosa. All he fucking does is press the space bar. But I mean, it was interesting to kind of see that too, because that was your medal strategy. It was like 500 then done. At least that's what it looked like for most of your games.
You got it.
I mean, the other medal strategy that we saw from Be Yourself was not to even touch medals until like the 3-minute mark. Do you guys feel like that would have been a valid strategy for medals, or were you pretty confident that the 500 strategy was definitely what was more successful, or not more successful, but more chance of winning with that?
I think it's more chance to win with the 500 medals thing, because the 500, once they're at 500, they pretty much have to get 2 kills in order to win. And having it like that is much better than just being tied, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, and it's like avoiding the first set of medals. It's like saying, I don't trust my tank. My tank's gonna die. You know, like it was kind of questionable, but
well, you never know.
You never
know. I think to elaborate, like our strat, we always want to be within a 2-kill game, and we were not like, we think going for a 600 is kind of like a meme.
Right.
In like an extremely competitive environment, like medal game will really come back.
Like 600 is basically mercy roll. So
yeah.
Right.
And the last thing really is our melee does not stack. That's one thing that we really ironed out, is like, okay, just melee should not stack ever, unless like minute left or something. But
we actually got a quick message here. I'm gonna go ahead and read it off because it's a kind one from Dudas Antonio. He said that I must say that the Feast matches at FanFest were really awesome. Good job to everyone competed. Congrats to Synergy 6.
Nice.
Because I mean, yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
The whole game.
Thank you.
Keep going. Just keep saying.
Everyone's I'm just trying to. Okay, I'm sorry, Frosty. Go ahead.
Shh, fucking milk addict. So when going into these games, these were in the semifinals too. I mean, it wasn't just like during on stage. These were awesome games. They were entertaining, every single bit of it. It wasn't like there's like any big rollover. Everybody seemed to be kind of, for the most part, around the same level when they were fighting each other. And that was beautiful. It was a good like advertisement for Feast. And I guess my question in that is, Do you guys feel like there's any more activity in Feast after the FRC, or was it just fun to watch and then kind of things died down a little bit? I'm only asking this because you guys are all part of, Feast Discords and community areas and everything else. If you guys have seen any kind of rise there, it's been kind of the same.
I think there's been actually a lot of new faces in Feast. But in terms of activity, feels the same in my opinion.
I'm not really sure. I mean, the only thing that I do know that has happened is that they were doing scrims now, and like there's a lot more people participating at this time around.
Right. Okay. So there's people actually going in and getting more invested into Light Party that just kind of check it out.
Absolutely.
Okay. Plus, good.
It's just something that I've been kind of trying to push. Is I kind of see it in some of these discords that there are players out there that want to play with their friends in PvP. It's less intimidating than solo queue for them, and it's a lot more fun, I think, when you're playing with a group of friends.
Right.
Even if you get owned over and over, like you're kind of learning together, and so I've been kind of pushing for for Square to kind of put another Light Party season in, just so that these teams can actually queue up and play together. And of course, doing it a little bit differently than they have in the past, because it just didn't work before. I think that'd be very, very beneficial, because we've been holding like these kind of little events in one of our discords where people can like sign up and play, and there's usually a lot of interest. There's usually about across Aether and Primal, there's maybe about 8-9 teams that sign up usually, and these are mostly just like either new players or players that are just kind of only done solo queue and they want to do a more constructed team environment. And so I think if Square would just kind of not drop Light Party support after the FRC, kind of like how I feel like they did right now, they should just keep trying to move it forward and show people that it could be pretty fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like right now, I don't expect to see anything for Light Party until after March. There might be one last season or something before the expansion comes out, but I just can't imagine them taking their focus off of doing each region and finishing that up before they actually bring it back in, and they'll probably just keep it on solo queue for a little bit. They do have to change their system, I think, for sure, if they want to get people interested in the Light Party. I mean, it's just having too huge of a range for people to queue just adds too many variables to it. But plus, I was going to have you jump in. I don't know if you had another question you wanted to ask about the event on stage.
I mean, just like a comment about the whole thing. I think like a big goal for this tournament that I know a lot of us wanted was just to have it kind of revitalize the scene a bit. Because I think things were getting, I think it needed like a kind of breath of fresh air.
Right.
And I hope everyone that watched it enjoyed it. I know that's something that everyone was concerned about was, the community is very tight knit and they wanted themselves to be presented well. They wanted the feast to be presented well, and for people to realize that, oh wow, this is actually a very complex part of the game that maybe a lot of people didn't realize. And there's a lot of teams and a lot of people investing strategies and time and effort and passion into this area of the game that maybe they didn't realize before. And I think in that sense, it did accomplish that. At least just like from what I've seen, and I'm sure you guys have seen that as well, just from people that maybe went up to you after the tournament and hopefully enjoyed the event.
Yeah. A lot of people seem to be pretty positive about it. I mean, did you guys have anyone come up to you after the event?
Yeah, quite a few.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of people
it's actually really
congratulated.
surprising and
was
wonderful.
nice.
Like, yeah, lots of people have just walked up to me saying, "Hey, congratulations! I watched the matches," and it's just like, "Wow, thanks." Like, just at FanFest, I mean, like, people just and in game too. Everyone's like, "Oh, wow, congratulations! Like, what is this?" and stuff like that. It's nice to see.
Yeah.
I'm surprised people actually watched, to be honest.
There was a good amount of people who watched. It was funny. I mean, it was a build up until the end. A lot of people were watching more at the end, and of course at the beginning of it. And I think I personally was thinking, all right, it's a morning event, and people are at FanFest. They want to see each other. They want to do stuff. They don't want to like, I guess they need to find times where they can avoid things like events and panels and stuff. And so if they were going to set one just because of how the whole community perspective about what people think about Feast in general, if they're going to like, hey, we're going to skip one event to go out and eat breakfast or lunch or something, it was going to be this morning event. And it had a slow build up at the beginning, but I mean, it got really hyped near the end of that, like super hype. And the dedicated Feast people are some of the best. I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of the pictures with Kadan. That guy was going crazy. It was so awesome to see.
Big shout outs to him, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, shout out to Kadan.
Yeah.
Kept the hype going.
And I think that's really awesome. That the thing is, like, we have like a handful of players that are out there who are really excited for this, and they came out and they made noise and they made it fun. And I got to give those guys a shout out. The PvP community in general at FanFest definitely made the event worth it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, so sorry, going into I guess the second round here, comp number 2 that you guys had going in against Team Amp. Did you guys think that Sir was going to play Paladin at any point?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Were you guys prepped for it?
Yeah. We play against Air Paladin all the time.
So prepped.
So
we're so prepped.
Were you guys surprised at the when he was playing Warrior?
No, because I've seen him play.
Yeah,
before.
I wasn't surprised at all. Like I told them, like, guys, he's gonna play Warrior. He's not gonna play Paladin.
Dude, Sir was trying to be sneaky about it. He's like, yeah, they have no idea. Like, oh, we knew, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We fucking
we knew you were playing Warrior too.
I mean, we knew. It wasn't a surprise at all. Like at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was pretty. I don't know. People wanted to see Sir play Paladin just because they know him from that. But in Light Party, I mean, if you're practicing that and you're pretty confident this is going to be the stronger comp overall with who you're playing. But I mean, it was interesting for us to see. Oh yeah, and that he played Warrior against you guys before too, so you guys kind of saw it.
What I was a little surprised about, at least, is like we know Sir's Paladin's good, and but we weren't expecting his Warrior to be that good either. Like he did really well, and so like that was kind of surprising.
Okay.
Because like he just kind of picked it up. Well, not that he like not that he's not surprising in the sense that he's like
a one-trick pony,
a one trick or something like that. It's just he picked it up really fast and did really well with it. So that was that was surprising.
I mean,
agreed.
Their whole team did amazing. Amp did great. Like seeing them go in there against all the games they had, and I mean it was a 5-match game. It was 5-round match, and it went to the 5th round. It wasn't like that they just kind of showed up and you guys steamrolled them or anything. These guys did really, really well. I have to ask, did you guys hear Sir?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Everyone heard Sir. Like even the commentators, like you guys heard them. Heard him like through the microphone.
You could also hear him on the stream too because he was
Yeah,
breathing into our mics.
I watched it and I was like, oh god, you can hear Sir.
I think he had 2 energy drinks before going. I forgot. Maybe he could correct us how many energy drinks he had before it actually happened. But yeah, he was crazy. It was fun to listen to him, man. But I mean, you guys chose the comp you did. Were you expecting overall what they played? You're like, this is what they're going to play. I know what we're going to have to practice against, and that's why you chose that comp? Or was it just a strong comp to go against whatever was going to be thrown at you?
This is a strong comp.
I think it's just a strong comp to go against. Like either be yourself or Amp. Like, either way, we were prepared, we were ready, and it's a comp that would have been good against either team.
Okay.
Swiss Army knife comp, really.
I gotcha. And I mean, basically, it was the exact same comp against each other, except for they had Red Mage and you guys had Bard. Is there a reason you guys wanted to go with Bard over any other range?
Nick, not Bard, though.
We generally feel like Warrior Bard is extremely strong. It's like a really good duo, and paired with like a samurai or dragoon, you know, that it's like super offensive, a lot of pressure. We did practice a lot of, at least a couple days before going to Vegas. We did practice a lot of warrior, samurai, machinist as well, and we were actually having a lot of success with that comp as well. So I was kind of prepared to whip out the machinist, but we decided just okay, like we're warmed up with these jobs. Let's just keep going, and you know it worked out fortunately. But we did have, because we did feel like samurai machinist could just kind of melt something in a second with if you time the Midari with the between at the same time, it's unhealable. So and red mage, the only one that could play red mage was SiXX, right? Pretty much on our team. So, but he was already playing warrior, and we did practice a little bit of paladin, red mage, Sam healer, but we didn't. I don't know. We it was kind of weird because like we would scrim sometimes against Be Yourself, right? And that comp really worked well at one point versus them, and then the next day they kind of figured it out and started beating it. So we weren't sure if it was really a good comp to play because of that. So we didn't. But yeah, there was a lot of like kind of analyzing like previous matches and then going with what we thought was our strongest. So
okay. I guess I want to ask a quick point on that too. How much did you guys practice with the other teams 2 days? Did you guys all decide to just play against each other 2 days beforehand to get warm, or because you were talking about how you guys played against Amp, right?
That was just to get a feel on the keyboard and mouse
that
they gave us and the controllers. Because the keyboard was like half the size of, like, my hand was half the size of the keyboard. So had to adjust a little bit.
Okay. So you guys were just, it wasn't, did you put your all into those matches, or were you just kind of like screwing around?
Actually, funny story about that. We were actually not talking at all to each other, and we were using in-game countdowns. And the objective there was we were just analyzing. Like, we weren't actually trying per se. We were just trying to see how they played for the most part, and that's why we lost most of the matches. So
tricky guys. I gotcha. All right, so I have another question that I have lined up here. Plus, do you have any other thoughts that you want to jump in?
You can go ahead.
Okay. So when you guys went through these matches, was there anything that you started to worry about? Was there like questions, things that you guys had to discuss between any of the rounds, or were you just like, next game, let's go?
As far as next game, let's go.
Really? So you guys weren't like, okay, we saw this, what do we have to change to make ourselves win this next round? It was just like, all right, we lost it, we just need to go into the next one.
Are you referring to like the actual finals matches or the scrims?
Any of them. Oh, not the scrims, sorry, like on stage, any of the matches on stage.
Oh, well, for instance, like the first game, like I just wanted to like just go to the next game because like that first game felt impossible. So just like wanted to play like as like we normally do on the second game, which I think went pretty well. We played how we normally do. I mean.
Okay. So the first one was just kind of warming up and making sure that you guys were kind of in there, and then you started to build up and go forward.
The first one was me raging the whole time.
We had issues, some technical issues. So that's why after that first game, when we fixed those, we were like pretty calm. We're like, okay, now we can really go at it this next game.
Yeah, the second game was a 600, right? That was the second one.
Yeah, it was. So there was like a complete difference, I think people saw, and then the third, fourth, and fifth matches were pretty good.
Okay.
And the thing about too, I think it was the versus Trashers, the first or the second game, Air's mic was not working.
I was gonna mention that actually, yeah, because the first game, I could hear him. I was sitting next to him, right? And I was like, after the game, I was like, guys, you guys can't hear Air, can you? And they're like, what? Oh no, we can't. It's like, he's been calling stuff this whole match.
I heard someone yelling. Yeah, I think I heard some of his yells.
Yeah, he was actually really hyped up. Like Air was calling out everything, and I'm like, guys, you can't hear him. So thankfully we got that fixed like after the first match. Otherwise they would have the same issue for the grand finals and all that stuff. And fucking.
I don't know what he just changed his picture to.
It's fucking. Oh god.
I don't even know what he's doing.
I don't know who that is either.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is that Nick? Oh my god, it doesn't even look like you. What happened, dude?
What is that?
What happened, dude?
For that picture. Oh my god, this is why you
I
can't
don't know why.
send
He made me do a stupid
Era.
face and send it to him, and then I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, why
I was
would
about to say,
you do
can't
that?
trust Air at
Trapped,
all.
dude.
I don't know.
You can't trust him.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Let's go into. Sorry, let me find this other part. I got distracted when I saw that face. So I did have to. I want to ask this because this is one thing I've talked to you already about this, but I figured everybody might want to hear you say it to Air. Why did Yoshida pick you to say you shy?
Cause I'm shy, yo.
Were you just like that apparent? Like
I guess so.
He's pushing the mic. He was pushing the mic to whoever was to Nick. He was pushing the mic to Nick.
That's right, because he was trying to like say, "Hey, don't talk to me. I'll just go to someone else."
Yeah, he was pushing away the mic from himself. It's like almost push Yoshida off the stage. They're like,
"Jeez, Air,
so
what's wrong with you?"
He's shy.
Shy, dude.
Shy. That's all right. Were you just like, I don't want to say anything, or were you scared your voice was going to be a little bit shaky?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's funny too. Actually, it's funny too because when we came to FanFest, they told us it's gonna be one. You know, after each game, there's gonna be an interview with whoever, and Aaron's like, "Yo, I'm doing it," and we're like, and Nick looks at me, and I just nod my head, and then like the day of, the morning of, Nick comes up to me, he's like, "So you're doing it, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." we tell Air, he's like, "Yeah, okay," because I'm shy. Or, I don't know what the hell he said, but it was So
okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Plus, do you have any other questions about the FRC before we move on to like some kind of general conversation about PvP here?
Yeah, I guess were you guys caught off guard when you found out who you would be facing in the grand finals? Like, were you at all surprised that it was Amp instead of Be Yourself? And how were you preparing for one team or the other? And then how did you have to change things up once you found out the result?
Well, we always felt like it was a 50-50 chance so a team would win. And let's see, Amp's comp was with Red Mage, Samurai. And the only thing for Red Mage, for instance, what we do is like back off when they could do melee combo, because if they lose a melee combo, they don't have anything. That and Red Mage versus is pretty obvious for the most part. And then for Be Yourself comp, we needed huh?
Don't
oh
worry,
my god!
Just keep going.
And for Be Yourself comp, we thought we needed to go like Dragoon Bard or Dragoon Black Mage, and we had already devised like a whole plan to go against Black Mage because I don't know if you guys know this, but I absolutely hate Black Mage. I think it's ridiculously OP in PvP. But yeah, we already found out like learned ways to counteract it the best we could. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Black Mage is one of those jobs that like a lot of people I feel like has a very high skill cap. Or like it has a I guess skill floor. Sorry, like it's harder to be good at Black Mage than it is to be good at other jobs. But once you're good at it, you're pretty much a monster. As we saw with Mateo. Mateo, you're kind of monstrous, I think.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem, dude. But okay. Are you guys? I guess you guys enjoyed the event. It was fun. You guys had a good time at least.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, oh yeah, what you guys think about the shoutcasting and the commentators?
We thought Plus did a really good job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, plus one
Thank
did
you.
so good.
Plus, it's so great.
I was so happy with
Plus was a god. Okay. Like,
Yeah,
like,
I gotcha.
great voice.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, when Plus came on stage and that guy followed him.
Everyone was cheering.
Yep.
Yeah.
you did
I
great
gotcha.
too, Frosty.
Yeah, someone was walking behind him.
Yeah. So someone else was there. Unnoticeable.
Somebody followed after him, or no, before him. Yeah, somebody followed before him.
Yeah.
Someone
I think he was
walked-
shorter too, right?
Yeah, he was shorter.
Much
yeah.
shorter. Much shorter.
Had
Maybe-
thicker
I think
legs.
that's
Thicker legs.
Thicker legs, yeah. Had a beard, right? Yeah.
Some beard.
The other guy was okay too.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, good
But
job.
in all
Yeah.
seriousness, you guys did great. You guys
Amazing. Yeah.
You guys brought a lot of energy to it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you guys bounced off each other pretty well. So yeah, because we rewatched it, and it was really good.
Yeah, I thought I did horrible, to be honest with you. I thought I did like complete shit. And I was like, man, I'm pretty sure I was stumbling. It just didn't like look good. It was just weird and awkward and cringy.
Frosty, there was one point where I was watching the video, right?
Yeah.
You said that Chris was running.
Hey,
constantly.
shut up.
Oh, he was running a limit.
I
I'm not
noticed
sure if
that.
anybody else noticed that, but
No
I was
one.
like, oh.
No one noticed it. I had two people. Say something. You were the second person. Plus didn't say anything to me on stage.
Wait, so now
noticed
everyone
it.
knows?
No. I noticed it, but I had to get on to the next point.
Couldn't
so
say it, yeah,
There was
yeah.
so much happening.
Okay. You should have corrected me, man.
I was just like, I was just like, man, no one's gonna notice it anyway.
I think everyone noticed.
Yeah, I think
actually,
everyone
according
noticed.
to the chat, like, I think everyone.
No one in chat noticed. I didn't see anything.
We couldn't
I
mention
think. I mean, like the chat right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
Air disappeared, by the
I
way.
just wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
I think RC is going an hour anyway. Like
Yeah, it's
an
good.
hour ago. So.
Oh, I didn't even know. Okay. Bye, Air. See you later, dude.
See you, buddy.
But no, yeah, I said that, and I look back, I felt stupid about it. I mean, I was going through it, and I was trying to go through it. I was like, oh, that's really interesting. I mean, they look kind of alike, right? And so I think my head just registered that for some reason. I was like, that's kind of weird. I should say something, and I just stopped thinking about it, and I just went forward to the next thing.
Yeah, one of them's useful, the other one's useless.
Yeah. I mean, I believe that, and that's why I looked at it. I was like, I don't know why he's running that, and it's weird. Okay, on to the next thing.
Concentrate against a warrior is useless.
Yeah, I assume so. Okay. Thank you for pointing that out. I'll make sure to correct that in the future.
I wasn't sure if anyone else actually noticed it.
Some people saw it. But yeah, no, I thought like when I went back and I watched it, there are some parts where like things could have been a little bit better, but for the most part, it seemed like the show went pretty well. It was kind of weird that they had the cameras on us. I didn't know. There's like a minute before every match, I thought the cameras were in game, and they were, I think, at the event, but not on the stream.
Right.
So like the big screens, they were showing in-game stuff. So when Air took his shirt off, everybody understood what happened, right? But like on stream,
Everyone in the audience understood.
yeah. But on stream, I don't think anyone knew. They didn't see exactly what I was seeing on the screen. And I was doing all this camera work, like I was moving it around, and I was doing all this stuff, and I was trying to make it look cool at the beginning. Didn't get any of that because
It was weird because sometimes they did it right, and then sometimes
they went in a
didn't
little
do it.
earlier. I think 30 seconds is the earliest they went in.
Yeah.
But that's all right. I mean, it was the first time that we did it, and so afterwards it was. I think going into like the next events and stuff that it's going to be, we'll know to look for it.
It's fun being the guinea pig.
What?
I said it's fun being the guinea pig.
Yeah, the guinea pig. We're definitely the guinea pig, the first one. But that's okay. I mean, I always liked NA Fan Fest because we always got the expansion announcement, and that's always like super, super hype.
Yeah, it's the greatest part, honestly.
Yeah.
Just the hype is just so real.
Yeah, people are crazy. They're jumping around. They see a gun blade, on the screen, and they're like, "Oh, this is the best thing in the world." And it's just a trailer, right? But everyone's just like hyped the rest of the weekend because of it.
Yeah, everyone was super hyped up except for Nick, who was still sleeping, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's
You missed the panel?
Yeah,
he messaged our Discord like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna go back to sleep. Like, I'll watch it later."
At night
I missed
before.
the whole expansion reveal and all this stuff.
Yeah, like the best part, he missed it. I'm just like, fuck this guy. Like, I don't. I couldn't deal with him. I was like, this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the question panel. You can miss the question panel. Not much there, honestly. But
it was okay. It was all right.
yeah.
It was
I
half
mean,
and
if
half.
you want interspecies, like
yeah.
I also
Anyway,
heard about the Crystal data center, dude. Hella hype.
I was sleeping, dude.
Yeah, that was awkward. That was an awkward announcement.
How was the audience at that time, actually?
Silent.
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 Okay.
Yeah,
I know when
Do
they
you guys not have phones?
when they released where the servers were going the next day, it was pretty loud right after it was announced. People were cheering, people were laughing, people were going crazy, people were like feeling big sighs of depression because Balmung was being moved over to Crystal, and it just like had this huge effect on everyone because they're like, oh, they're separating the ERP server over to a different data center.
Crystal's just the RP server, the RP data center.
I mean, it may be.
Yeah,
maybe.
We'll see.
They put Mateus there.
Yeah, they put all the RP servers there. So
yeah, I actually, you know what? I want to make a point of that too. The new data center is going to have a huge effect on PvP.
Yep.
That was the first thing that I mentioned. As soon as I heard that, I'm like, it's going to kill the queues. They have to do something about that because it's already really slow and honestly borderline dead. So having 3 data centers instead of 2 is just going to kill it completely.
Yeah. Everything else will probably be okay. Like the queues might take a little bit longer for expert or dungeons and everything else. It'll be fine. It's not a big deal. But to keep PvP, like solo queue alive, I'm like really legitimately worried about it because this is people. How do you make it to where it's not? I don't know. It doesn't just die out. You're gonna have like an hour or two. You're gonna have that same section of the day, like in the evening, where everybody starts to play and everything. But it's just gonna be that much longer, and it's just gonna be that much less people playing. And will Crystal even? I don't know. Have people decided if they're gonna like keep PvP on Crystal or try to switch to a different data center?
I know how they can keep PvP populated. They could. I'm just saying, it's a possibility. They could just make it good. They could do that. Just saying.
Jesus Christ, Drake. See, this is what I'm talking about, guys. I think Feast is amazing.
I just.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. On JP data centers, they have 3 data centers already. It's just alts, really. Like, there's the people that want to play for their reward. They'll get a sufficient enough rank, on their main or whatever. And then the people that actually just want to play for PvP and good games are just going to make alts and congregate on one data center. So I think a version of that is going to happen with this DC split. Like people they might be attracted by like quote unquote easy top 10 or quote unquote easy rank 1 or whatever. But ultimately the people that do want quality matches are going to find some way to congregate and find each other on one data center. I'm not sure which one that's going to be. I have an idea, but
Right. I mean, there's going to have to be some sort of decision, right?
Hint, it's not Crystal. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I mean, it is weird because that is probably what's going to happen. We have to come together as a community and say, hey, we're just going to play on this data center. I mean, you can do whatever on these other ones, but it's going to be sad because the only way that you could get queues is to tell other people to queue up, and that's like a version of win trading almost, right? And so it's you have like 8 people who all queue up at the same time. Yeah. I don't know. It's
yeah. I'm also
goofy.
like concerned about the newer population too, like people that are wanting to try it out because, let's say they're on the less populated data center for PvP, and then they queue up and they're waiting for 2 hours and there's not a pop, and they're like, but they want to play, but they just figure that they just have that perception that it's not active.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. Everybody believes it. They're like, oh, 30-minute wait time? Okay, I'm not going to wait on this. But literally it pops 5 minutes later. But just because of how the queue works and calculates stuff too, they're just going to look at it and say, no, I'm not going to wait on this. I wanted to get into a game real quick and be done.
The platinum queues were really slow for a while because obviously nobody was really platinum. So people queue and see 30-minute wait time, but that's because of the higher ranks are in queue. Like, it's kind of messed up because like when I was silver, it would pop like 5 minutes, whatever, but it said more than 30 minutes, even though it wasn't true. It was just kind of messed up.
Yeah. Air, what do you think the solution is going to be to fix the data center issue?
Yeah, he won't be able to answer, I don't think.
Oh, okay. He just wanted to be here. He just wanted to be in here. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. He's listening now. Oh, no, never mind. No. He's driving to work or something. I don't know, man.
Okay, I gotcha. So I mean, yeah, I don't think they could do any cross data center stuff, right? There's not going to be like, hey, we're going to link these data centers together somehow and have one big PvP queue. I don't know systematically how that would even work. Maybe there's a way to do it. But it's going to be, I don't know. I really don't know. They have to find, like, Square Enix probably would have to take some sort of, they need to address this in some way. They can't just say, all right, let's let the community figure it out, because that's going to suck, because it's just going to be there's only one PvP data center, and everyone's going to have to transfer over the Aether or Primal probably. It depends. I think it's going to be Aether. I'm just saying. But
I don't think the the solution that they come up with was the right one. I think they didn't think it through very well. It's not just going to affect PvP, but it's already affecting, like, you know, communities and friendships and stuff, because you're literally splitting them apart. And to a lot of people, that means it's a lot to them. Like, you know, you have these friends in the game, and then now you have to make a choice. So where am I going to go? Blah blah blah. And people might say, oh, well, just everyone move to the same place, but that's not true for all your friends, though.
It's really difficult.
People make choices,
yeah,
and it sucks, right? Like, yeah, you could chat with them on Discord and stuff, but it's not going to be the same. You can't play with them.
Right.
And so I think the solution that they came up with will affect more than just PvP down the road. It's going to affect it's like a short-term solution to their, like, expansion release, you know, so it doesn't lag as much, but I think they should have looked for better solutions to possibly kind of try to do cross-world stuff between all three data centers to you know, make the community, you know, massive and huge and, you know, plentiful with queues. And I don't know, there was just a lot more they could have done, I think. I mean, we see it in a lot of games right now. When you're splitting up communities and separating servers, it's actually going to hurt you in the end.
Right.
And I don't know if they realize that right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused. And I know there's reasons behind it. They're not just doing it because they're like, hey, this seems like a good idea. I'm sure they thought about it. I'm sure they put some effort into it. And they're like, hey, look, there's some serious issues going on. We're having this constant stuff. I don't know if it's DDoSing. I don't know what else. But they're having some sort of major issue. Hey, we need a solution. What solutions do we have available? They went through all the different solutions. And they thought that this might be the best possible one. Which is, hey, we'll split it up, and then there's less load going on each server, and they're having to pay for an extra data center. I'm sure this costs them money, right? This isn't something that's like benefiting them financially, and they're having to take the risk that splitting up the communities isn't going to make or harm the game overall. And I don't know. For us, EU and you know, NA, we can see, hey, this is a big problem for us. We don't see all the other back end stuff, but we see it's a big problem for us. We know there's going to be issues because of it. I know for sure that may level out for the PvE community. There may be ways for it to be fine in the end. I'm not as concerned. I know that it's going to it's going to break up some statics. It's going to do some stuff, but it's not going to be horrible. It's not going to be the worst thing in the world. PvP, it could be the worst thing in the world. At least that's how I feel. I don't want to be the last one to say anything on that, Lynn.
I was just going to say, like, it's honestly more the community kind of thing, like losing my friends, that I'm more worried about than PvP. Because, like, I would do anything to keep my teammates and my friends together. Like, I don't want to say goodbye to anyone. I want us all to keep hanging out and keep playing games together, you know, just keep.
How many friends do you have that you're like, hey, I need all of them to be within the same data center?
Well, especially these guys right here. Like,
you guys are all going to be in the same data center, right? You're not going to split up.
I think we're still talking about it, but I'm worried that we're going to get separated. I'm really worried about it. Like, I care more about the people right here than anything. So
you guys hear that? You guys are all fucking going to the same data center.
It's my Aether?
Yeah, Aether. You guys are all going to get Aether. I mean, in the end, if I had to guess, and this is, of course, me without talking to anyone or making any kind of discussions or anything, the community is eventually going to... I mean, we already have people kind of going over to Aether a little bit more than Primal, so I feel like Aether is going to be the funnel at the end that people are going to kind of funnel into that, and all the other ones are going to have silver and gold top 100s. But, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, hopefully people kind of see PvP more. There's more participation. And there's more changes in 5.0 and everything like that. And
right.
I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, the community that's active is going to make a choice.
Correct.
I don't think there's going to be like, it's not going to, I don't think there's any way of avoiding it. It's going to happen, and everyone's going to say, hey, for the most part, I mean, there's going to be a few people who are like, no, I'm never leaving this data center. I'm staying in this data center forever. And they'll be really hardcore with a smaller group of people. But the people who want the big group are all going to go into that one. But
right.
Plus, do you have any extra thoughts you want to throw on this? Sorry.
Yeah, I think the biggest concern for SE2 is making sure that what we're talking about right now isn't even a problem to begin with. Because I think a lot of the issue we're having right now is just because of how small the PvP community is compared to other aspects of. So I think it really comes down to that as well, and what they're planning moving forward, possibly in 5.0, to really make a big step in getting more of the population, not even necessarily new players to Final Fantasy 14, but even just the existing population to rethink, to have them rethink their opinion on PvP.
Right. And I still, I honestly think we need to... Hey, Divine, you sigh at me, motherfucker. I'm sorry. I think we need to have, in my opinion, and I've said this a couple of times, I guess, the community teams are great. I know a lot of people in the community teams, but the community team managers, they seem like they are, hey, they do everything. You have the responsibility of the entire community. And they should probably start doing it to where we have a representative for different parts of the game. Like, this is our PvP person. This is all they do. They communicate, they study, they work with the community, they do everything else. And they are going to listen and transfer this information back over to Japan and make sure that they understand how EU and NA are feeling about PvP. And this is their entire job, is to make the community in the other regions that much better, make the game better for that section of the community. Same thing with raiding, though. Having someone who's just dedicated to raiding, collecting all the opinions, and that's all they do is interact, raid, and make sure they understand the concepts and everything, and communicating that back over to JP. And I feel like if we did that, we would probably avoid a lot of weird issues like this. But that's just my thoughts on it.
See, not to go off on a tangent, but I think Final Fantasy is kind of like a strange game-intensive community. I think like even the raiding community is not even that big. Like, it's not as big as it quote-unquote should be. Do you know what I mean? So it kind of like begs the question, it's like, what are all these players doing, kind of thing? Like, if the PvP community is small, if the raiding community is small, like what RPing? Like, I don't know, right? Like, there's a lot of things to do in the game, I'm sure, but these quote-unquote big factors, big, attractions aren't being utilized as much as they should be.
I mean, there's a lot of people in Eureka, right? Now, a lot of people don't like it, but there's a lot of people in it. There's a lot of people, I mean, there's people who like Eureka, but there's a lot of people who don't. But it's still active. I mean, it's still doing stuff. There's lots of different things in the game, and people just log in because they want to play with friends and do something that's involved with Final Fantasy. I think that's what it is. Final Fantasy is a weird fan MMO. And there goes Peter again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone to work now. He says I'll answer for him.
Okay, fair enough. It won't be hard to do.
An interesting point too is, like, I know during the Ultimate raid development panel, they said how they almost are fine with some aspects of the game not having that big of a population, such as developing content for Ultimate raid. And they even said that some of the ideas they had and the motivation they had behind it was specifically to have good content for big streamers on Twitch and have something entertaining for viewers to watch other people play.
Right.
And I think that's like a really interesting point.
I feel like that's entirely true. If getting Twitch game and excitement up brings more people to the game.
Well, they need more content, man.
Well,
Yeah,
content that
honestly-
people will want to stream and be a part of, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say honestly, PvP and 3.x had a lot of Twitch presence, like within the community. I mean, like people actually watched it and hey, stream please. You know, that doesn't really exist anymore. Like yeah, there are people who still stream it, but it's not really popular like it used to be in 3.x.
Well, 3.x sucked ass. But no, 3.
Okay.
I'll say this. I'll say this as a positive thing to 3.x. 3.x was basically a giant world, right? A giant environment of learning and figuring things out and trying to make things different, get the right stats for your gear, try to figure out how these stats affect things in PvP, finding all the little tiny things to be better, how to change, you know, use these different moves in this certain way. It had a lot to it, but it was a clusterfuck. It was a huge clusterfuck, but the people who got into it, it felt like a huge world to explore and try to be better because you're good at figuring this stuff out. And so it didn't have a lot of presence for people. It wasn't friendly for people who wanted to start PvP because it was a lot of shit you had to do to get into PvP.
For instance, like the gearing aspect, like I would go into matches with like PvP, a PvE set on with like a ton of accuracy and other useless stats in PvP. And would do just fine. Like the attributes only affected you by so much. It wasn't like the end all be all.
I don't know. I felt like it did.
Bro, I was like full accuracy on every piece of gear at one point, and accuracy is utterly useless. For the most part, it was useless. And then I think I had like a skill spin or something like that. It was still just as fine. Of course, it'd be better if I had crit determination, but I don't think it was that important in my opinion.
You didn't think the stats overall really mattered?
It mattered, but not to the extent as much as people may think it did.
Okay. I thought it had a bigger impact and trying to balance out accuracy and everything else. When I started to try to figure out gear and stats, and I had to go grind this one dungeon for like an entire day to get a pair of pants that would fit the right stat setup that I wanted, I was kind of discouraged.
100% accuracy. Yeah.
And so I felt like that whole stuff was just a big mess. But I mean, that was also the other draw to it. And I know people really liked it, but it just wasn't friendly for a PvP environment. Right? What we're in right now is not entirely friendly for a veteran PvP environment, but back then it was not friendly for a newcomer PvP environment. And I think they went from one end and went entirely to the other end. And this is kind of a problem, right? When you start making your game very friendly for new players and less friendly for veterans, people enjoy it and they have fun and to a point, and then they stop.
The issues are the extreme changes. Like those are the biggest issues when they make these extreme changes out of nowhere.
Well, it was an expansion. I mean, I can kind of, if they're going to make a big, huge change, expansion's, you know, when you're going to do it, right?
And they always got like multiple like opinions on those changes every time. So that too.
Honestly, speaking of changes, if I had to tell Squared one thing to do for next expansion, it would be to get rid of the medal system, get rid of almost basically change Feast completely, right? So basically make it a system that's familiar to people, like arenas, like just kill someone. That's all you got to do. That's the objective. So make the game modes simple, but make the jobs more complex. Okay. So that way you have, you know, veteran players happy, right? And new players too. The jobs are a lot more interesting. You can there's more skill to them. And then the game mode doesn't matter as much. It'll still be fun as long as it's something that's familiar with people. They don't have to read and watch like a 5-minute video of what the hell Feast is, right?
Yeah.
All they have to focus on is perfecting their job, being good at it, and, you know, potentially being able to carry more when you have a more complex job to play, right?
I mean, I kind of have a slightly different opinion about it. You guys are the experienced great players. I'm the casual guy in the background. But like when we're talking about Feast, it's very unique to MMO makeup and MMO PvP because you have a tank, a healer, and 2 DPS. And it's structured, and everybody has a role that they have to fit in and play. Where if you go into like WoW PvP, I think you have a healer and just whoever can do good damage and crowd control, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't really matter. But here you have to kind of fit this one mold and make it work, and you have to work together. Like you have to all be team players. You can't just kind of get in there and just say, all right, well, I'm going to go in and just play really hard, and I'm going to do really well because I play really hard.
I think the biggest problem is that, for instance, it doesn't like make it good to play as a solo player because like you can play like League of Legends, you're supposed to work as a team to do well, but however, you can still carry by yourself. But in Final Fantasy, it's impossible to carry by yourself. The only thing you can really do is like LB and Calling 5. But I
think that's just this... Yeah, go ahead.
Like it's so annoying when you go into front lines. You're against a bot healer, and you can't even kill the bot healer because of the abilities that we have as a melee, you know. Whereas in other games, you can easily like destroy the bots, but in this MMO, it's like I can't even kill a fucking bot. Like, what the piss, dude? Like,
right.
Yeah,
and it wasn't always like that.
Mm-hmm. No, it wasn't in 3.x, right?
Yeah, that was bad.
So I think 3.x had maybe too much for people, right? You had your entire ability kit, right, that you used for PvE and into PvP, and it was probably too much for a lot of people. And then on top of that, you had this kind of weird, unfamiliar feast system to learn. So it was just a lot of stuff for like a casual player, and that's why I don't agree that system was the best either. It was more fun having more buttons. That's true, but I think next expansion you can add a little bit more buttons, but make the game mode just simpler. Like you can still do the tank, healer, ranged, and melee, sure, but you know, make the objective something familiar. Same thing with like rival wings. Like I think this can kind of expand to frontline. Like there's people that like rival wings, sure, but I think for the most part, the majority of people kind of just don't do it anymore. It's not that interesting, I think. I think what would be more interesting is something that people are familiar with, and I always say this, like capture the flag, something that people know what the hell you need to do. You need to go in there, grab the flag, bring it back. Right. And in there, I think it'd be much easier. You could do 8 versus 8, small battlegrounds. The queues will be active because it's a small amount of people. You don't have to wait for 72 people.
Right.
You could just wait for 16 people. And if you guys remember, the 8 versus 8 feast was kind of active, right? When you wanted something, you know, kind of casual to just kind of jump into, and people actually kind of liked it.
It was such a clusterfuck, dude.
It was a clusterfuck, but you kind of learned, like, okay, like this is what a feast match kind of looks like, right? Without being too.
I mean, I guess.
8 dragoons tethering each other. I think I still.
It was a mess. So, I mean, but yeah, I kind of get it.
Yeah, just give us Warsong Gulch, like just something similar to something that people know what to do, right?
Yeah.
See, my opinion on the whole entire like the feast thing, I think the skill ceiling and the skill floor, combined with just forcing people into working together to just like an extreme degree is really not conducive to making the mode grow. Like I'll be honest, I think for solo queue specifically, there are carry jobs. You know what I mean? Roles as well to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Like you can, like for example, I'm just gonna say it outright. Like as a white mage, you can do some pretty incredible things because you're not as reliant on your team. You know what I mean? Right. Now that like there's damage buffs and everything like that, you know, like the melee dots take 15% more and all that stuff. Yeah, you're a little bit more reliant on your team, but you're still kind of like solo playing, which is kind of like the epitome of solo queue. You know what I mean? Like, but the level of communication and teamwork that's actually required in solo queue right now is very surgical. It's to the point where it's like, all right, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to triple swap. You know what I mean? So it can get very daunting. And at the same time, you know, like you're talking about Black Mage earlier, and how the floor and the ceiling is kind of affected. Well, if you can press fire 4 once, you're kind of like 50% there.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? And then the other 50% is kind of like the extra stuff that you can kind of do. You know what I mean? Like if you land your sleep properly at the right time, you're 75% there. Like I'm exaggerating, of course, but I think the floor and the ceiling need to be really distinct, because right now they're a little bit too close together. Like if I look at like a samurai and I look at Divine, who I personally consider to be one of the best samurai out there, the difference with him versus somebody that just picked up samurai within a couple games is gonna be, I'm sorry, but entirely too close. So that's, I think there was actually a thread that we plugged in that we worked for weeks. I think Nick might actually have the link. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But we posted in the official forums and we got it translated in Japanese thanks to a wonderful individual called T Power Man. Yes, thank you. That we actually proposed a few changes. You know what I mean? Just quality of life changes, maybe some ability changes and things like that. Where this is the direction we think it needs to take. Like we need to separate. If you're good at your role, be rewarded by having more of an impact on the game. Right? If you're good at communicating in terms of communication, all right, cool. Let's celebrate that as well. But don't push it to the extent that it's pushed to right now, where you need to communicate to like you know what I mean? Like I'm not doing my SATs. Like come on, man. It's you know what I mean? Like there's some things that you can like 1, 2, 3, but really there's a lot of communication necessary, and that's why ultimately, really, I think I said ultimately a couple times. Light Party for this game mode is far more superior.
Yeah, I mean, because the skill is based on teamwork. Correct. I mean, all the skill in this game right now is based on teamwork, and that's weird trying to force that into solo queue, because people in solo queue, they're not thinking, I don't give a fuck about other people. I just want to go in there and kill somebody. Or I want to go out there and do that. They're not thinking, oh, well, now I need to figure out how good of a team player I am. Which, that might be different in Japan, right? I guess, like, because the mentality might be different where I go over there. They're thinking, I don't want to piss off my team. And how do I become a better team player?
It's kind of interesting you should mention Japan, because I've actually played on NA, on EU, and on JP. And I have a kind of similar understanding of where the floor, ceiling, and the just general area is, and the thing about that is it's almost all data centers are the same, but Japan is kind of, their floor is a little bit higher, whereas ceiling might not be as high as Aether. I might get some hate in the chat for that, but like and you go to like EU where they're kind of like they're balanced out in that regard, so it's kind of interesting. But yeah, I do think solo queue is necessary. It's kind of like something to promote the game mode where you can just kind of queue up whenever you want to do something, I guess.
Right.
But ultimately, if as Nicosa said earlier, if you can just kind of push that light party season, it would just really benefit the mode a lot more.
Well, I mean,
it's meant to be played as a team, really.
Yeah, they can push it and everything, but they have to successfully push it to where you get queues. And if they can do that,
that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing.
Because solo queue, like, so many people I've talked to, when they try to get into PvP, they're like, I'm trying to get into PvP, but the range, I'm queuing as a bard, but it's been like 40 minutes. And I'm like, oof, dude, you don't even know, man. Like, it's going to be like that throughout the whole season. So I suggest, playing a melee or tank, or even healer if you want to really learn. But
really,
but the matchmaking system, the whole, it's kind of doesn't work. Like, why should a player that spams matches all day every day should get diamond? Like 3,000 matches in one season, and then
well, I mean, it encourages activity, right? At least.
Like it does, but it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah,
should not be that way. And a lot of these players or new players have that mentality as well. They're like, oh, I can just I just have to spam matches and I'll get good. But
okay. I'm gonna ask a question here. If you guys, by the way, anyone in chat has questions, please feel free to put it in that Google form. That the bot's been kind of posting here for a bit, and then we'll go over those. I'm gonna mix in some of my questions in here too, and then of course some of Plus's questions. So Plus, if you have a question about anything, I'll get to you here in a second. This is from a Primal Summoner player. how do you think the grand finals would have been if Be Yourself has won the finals versus Amp? Or I mean the finals before the grand finals, whatever. If you guys were facing off against Be Yourself, how confident are you guys to beating them?
Probably like 50-50. I mean, it's 9 buttons. It can go either way.
Jesus.
Everyone has the same strategy. It's true. It's the same strategy, right?
I'm being honest. That's how I felt
Bait
it.
cooldowns. Start swap. Didn't work. All right, fall back.
Okay.
Let's wait for them to come in. Oh, they come in. All right, counter burst. All right, we got cooldowns here. Let's swap to the next target. That's the issue with PvP right now, man. It's mediocre. It's getting way too mediocre.
A big part of it is honestly communication too.
Yeah.
Like if your healer isn't saying like, "Hey, I don't have anything," like your team's gonna push in without you, and someone's gonna die. Like it's honestly a very important part that.
Yeah.
I think I kind of go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead, man.
I was just gonna say, like, in regards to like Amp versus Be Yourself and everything like that. I'll say it outright. Like, we prepared for Be Yourself like a little bit more than Amp. But when it comes down to it, I do share the same sentiment. Like the whole team. Like when we saw how close the semifinals were, we were like, all right, this is 50-50. Like no questions asked. This is 50-50. Any team could have taken everything like that, and that's what we felt like after the semifinals, all those months and everything like that. That's what we felt going into the finals, that Amp versus Be Yourself. Amp can take it, you know what I mean? Like they were quote unquote the underdogs to go versus Be Yourself, but we felt that it was actually 50-50, that like anything can happen, and like Divine said, you know, it's
like look what happened to Trash Tears and the other
this isn't 3.x. Yeah,
this isn't 3.x.
Like look what happened there. Like everyone was like, oh, Trash Tears is gonna get wrecked, and you know they ended up going to fucking Vegas. Like, woo. You never know. You know, players. You never know with this PvP system.
The entire system is to work the system. And to work, I guess, going in there and just see who, because everybody can pretty much do the same amount of damage and do the same amount of pressure and do everything else, but they have to, whoever has the best overall, I guess, like teamwork and the right timing and just how it just turns out in the end. Synergy. They kind of win, and that doesn't really translate to solo queue very well. Like you guys were saying.
We actually thought it was going to come down to, like, of course it's going to come down to the team that makes the least mistakes, right? Like that's obvious. But we actually did consider that, you know what I mean, like playing on stage and away from the comfort of your own home was going to be a factor, and all these jitters and everything like that. So we really thought that was one key factor, that like it was. Like, you know, I know you asked earlier, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, if somebody wasn't feeling good, would you let them play, kind of thing? But with us, we were really confident playing anybody. So that's kind of where it comes to. It's like we thought that was a big factor. So even adding more to the stigma of like anything can happen. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would have been a good game. It would have been a good game.
Yeah.
For sure.
Maybe we need to see that sometime.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I do want to ask you guys this too, because this is the first time you guys have met Yoshi P. You guys actually saw him, you shook hands with him, took a lot of pictures with him and everything. What did you guys think about him?
Nice fight, though.
Nice fight. Okay.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
I think he was really sweet and chill, honestly, because after the shaking hands and stuff on stage, when we went to take the pictures, we also got a chance to, if we wanted to, take a picture, just him and us, like just one-on-one. And he was just honestly like, just a really nice guy.
Yeah, really chill.
Yeah. Did you guys kind of expect him to be like that, or did you expect it to be a little bit different?
I didn't expect him.
I didn't think he would be as welcoming and I just thought he would be like really quiet, but he wasn't really that quiet. I don't know, he was just sweet.
I mean, he's a nice guy. Like, every time I've seen him, he's always been up for pictures. He's always been up for trying to make everyone happy there, right? That's his goal.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I didn't expect.
Yeah. Does it make you guys kind of seeing the producer over there, the way he is, does that change? Does it make you feel a little bit different than maybe you felt about Square Enix overall, or you guys feel the exact same? It doesn't really matter.
I feel different about Yoshi, but as far as for the rest of SC,
Yoshi, I feel different, but when it comes to everyone else, it's the same. It's like, come on,
okay.
Fix this, please.
I agree. I agree.
Okay. Plus, did you have one lined up?
Yeah. So how, based on how this tournament went, how often would you want them to do something like this, or do you even like? Would you like them to do something like this once a year? Are you still interested in participating in another tournament if they do one in the future?
I think Nick said it in an interview as well. I think he said EU and JP bring it on. So I think we can all echo that. EU and JP bring it on.
Yeah.
I think it's once a world championship.
So you're interested in like a World Cup type of thing?
Yes.
I mean, absolutely. Yeah, we were talking about it too during FanFest and everything. Like that, it would be really awesome. Like we would totally be down for that.
Yeah, free ride to Japan.
Yeah, Japan or Paris or whatever. Like, yeah, please, that'd be great.
It would be pretty cool. The only thing is that like it'd be so far in the future, we'd have to hope the groups were still together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that everything was still the same. Because the planning it would take for that to happen is a lot. But I mean, I would want to see it. I mean, I was talking to you, Mateo, a little bit. I think it would be cool if we did like after all the FRCs, did a community event with the winning team in each region, and just kind of did like a few like everybody a round robin on each data center against the 3 different teams and figure out
Twitch.tv/Wolves Cup.
The plug.
Yeah, nice.
Hell yeah.
Coming soon.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. It'd be awesome.
I think that's the next quote unquote big step for Feast right now. I think it's gonna have to come from small humble beginnings. You know what I mean? It's gonna have to be a community led event where we kind of bring the world together and bring all these different players from different regions into playing in this cup. You know what I mean? And really enjoying it together.
Yes. So far, every data center or like NA, JP, and EU, we all have our own little fan-made tournaments that we've been doing. Mm-hmm. And we could, bring that together and have everyone do our own little World Cup, and that would just be really awesome.
Yeah. We'll see what we can do here. We got to wait for all the FRC stuff to finish, but it'd be cool to see what happens. Here's a question from Garzak. Do you guys want to see any PvP mode like Arathi Basin for the people who actually know what that is?
I don't know what that is.
It's like
King is AFK the one
basically.
Is this some WoW shit again?
Oh, there he is.
Okay.
I heard Arathi Basin. I'm back.
Okay.
No, I think it would benefit greatly from. So Arathi Basin, basically, for people who don't know, it's kind of like similar to Seal Rock. You kind of take over a base and you keep it. Once you flip it to your faction, and they're not randomized. There's just how many points? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different points on the map, and you just control them, right? And you go back and forth between them. Yeah, kind of like Secure, and
Secure,
a little bit smaller on the map. And the battle mode, I believe, is 15 versus 15, so it's a good size. Queues are pretty quick because of that, and it's only 1v1, like in terms of teams, right? It's not 1v1v1 like these, like, which was always a questionable thing. That
48 did.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, I think, because you'd have like 2 teams like ganging up on one team, and you had all these, it was kind of silly. So I think it would benefit greatly from an Arathi-based type system or a Warsong Gulch CTF kind of system. I don't know. I'm really big on having smaller battlegrounds. That way the queues are better and it's more impactful, I guess. When you're in a 72-72 or what was it, 24-24-24 match, you can't really do much by yourself unless you're with a group of people. Right. So it doesn't feel good. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Right.
So I think a small battleground would be great.
They also had like mine carts or something, right? In Arathi Basin, that you could like follow. It had some sort of like thing that you could follow around and get more points if it made it to the point or something.
That's a different map.
Is it?
I know.
I thought that was in Arathi Basin too. I don't know.
Yeah, you might be talking about
the mine. I forgot
the mine one. I forgot it's called too. It's been a while since I played WoW, but yeah.
I mean, Seal Rock's pretty close to it. I don't know if we need another mode exactly like that. I think I'd rather see Capture the Flag first before I saw that. Okay, so
Silver
now...
Shard, that's it. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. No. It's fine. All right, so I guess another question is, I kind of heard what you thought about the mode and everything else. Do you guys feel like with how it is right now, the jobs are at least balanced, or at least close to balanced, or are they pretty far off, like just full ones you never use?
Except for Scholar and Summoner, yeah, I think everything is Ninja and maybe like they kind of nerfed a little
Monk,
and Astro. I mean, you know.
And then the next one, and the next one.
Yeah.
They're not balanced. Like they're just not.
Yeah.
They're just there. Like I haven't seen a Monk, I think, at all this season.
Like some of them are good, but
I've seen him, but he's underage, so he couldn't go to FanFest. Sorry. Okay.
The Astro and Dark Knight nerfs were just too much. Like just too much, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how Black Mage has gone through all this PvP and still be the best range.
I don't understand how Astro got nerfed. Honestly.
Don't talk shit about Black Mage.
But that's all I'm gonna say about that.
I don't understand what they were thinking when they decided to make TBN a 15-second cooldown and then leave cover the way it is.
An essential 15 seconds. Hello.
Yeah. I don't understand why they changed that, but you know, cover. It's okay for cover to not have a cooldown.
No, cover should just get rid of the negative 10%, and cover should be exactly what it should be. So.
How about no?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I don't think there'll ever be like an actual balance of jobs, though.
No,
like,
of course not.
You don't even see it in WoW either. Like WoW has always had. They're like on season like 75 right now or something. I don't know, but like they have never struck a perfect balance of jobs. It's like it's not possible really. There's always going to be a meta, a few jobs that are just shining above others, and I think that's okay. Like, but I don't think it should go an entire expansion where a job is unplayable. That's just not fair. Like I think, all right, fine, Summoner wasn't good for season 6. All right, so let's just make it pretty strong season 7 at least and see how it does, right? So make it interesting, right? Instead of just like you saw Monk and Machinist in 3.x was like they were ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
You play any other job you're throwing basically. so I don't know, like yeah, I think Machinist is better though still.
I don't know about
ridiculously like I don't know.
All right, we're running close to out of time. We probably got room for 2 or 3 more questions at most here. So I'm gonna go ahead. I don't know if you guys hear my dogs back there. I'm going to let Plus, do you have another question on mind that you wanted to ask?
You can go ahead.
Okay. So one of these other questions here, this is from Goka. He says, I'm an incentive type player. Killing morale killed my morale. Could SE, the stat morale, could SE realistically add worthwhile rewards to PvP again that's not glamour?
Oof.
It's a mount season.
I mean,
people like mounts.
I think every mount's a glamour, dude. It's all it's glamour mounts. That's what it is.
They've already started like adding stuff to at least the vendors that you can buy that can actually help. Like you can actually use in like PvE areas or just other areas. Like the vendor actually has stuff you can actually use now. But that's a good start. But the wolf collar thing, like the
wolf collar thing, yeah, it's they need to add more because
like they forgot about it. Like
honestly, that's what it feels like. Yeah, because that's been there for a very long time. It's like by now, if you don't have all the weapons, you just haven't been playing. Like everyone should have enough wolf mark or collars for the weapons.
Like they should have more participation rewards.
Yeah,
it's I think that's what a lot of people ask for, right? Like
even if like a silver, you should be rewarded for like to some extent.
Yeah, like a silver. I don't know, silver fucking wolf mount or something. Like
yeah, absolutely.
Something
I would love
for, like,
wolf
casual.
mounts. That makes so much sense, man.
I mean, the
that
goal
shows, I participated.
Exactly.
Woo, me, like none of this earrings bullshit. None of
Or
this
new titles or something.
What titles?
I said, or add new titles.
Oh.
So all you have is like Diamond Wolf, stuff like that, or rank 1 title.
I think
we're gonna use our FRC titles when we get them, in 2020.
Yeah.
But
I think realistically, what they need to work on is like for myself, I don't really care about rewards. I could care less. But what they need to work at, like the dream at first, is like getting the game mode to a point where it's like you want to play just to play the game mode. Like that's quote unquote the reward in itself. But I realize that we live in like 2019 pretty soon here, and people actually want to want these accomplishments and things like that. So like Sir has a really amazing thread that he created, and I think like reaching out, like the guy said, and the lady reaching out and giving participation rewards, achievement rewards, and something that you can like work towards is like, oh, I just zoned into feast, you know what I mean? Like they have a little bit of it, You know what I mean? I don't know the name of them. I don't really care. But they have some of those, but really like bumping that up a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So people are like, okay, hey, you know what? I'm succeeding. I'm doing something. I'm being productive, right? But until they get the game mode to a point where people are really, really content with it, they just want to go in and improve their own gameplay and improve their own style and get better. They will need to incentivize people but honestly, just gotta be careful with that. Like too much incentive is also not that great of a thing. You know what I mean? Like, because you'll get people that will find ways
to abuse it.
To abuse it, right? So yeah,
especially with the mounts. Like,
especially
there's a lot of mount collectors and
minions. Don't think.
We'll never understand that. I'm so sorry. I guess that's what people do in this game. Like,
I don't understand the minion. The mounts, like I can understand, but the minions, it's like, come on, I don't understand that.
They got it for minion, you know. For minion. All right. So Plus, do you have one more question here? Are you good?
I can throw one in here, I guess.
Okay.
Kind of a wild card question. If you guys could choose, either they change the game mode or they revamp the battle system, what would you choose?
Revamp battle system.
Revamp battle system.
Yep.
Okay.
No brainer.
Fair enough.
I think, jokes aside, like Feast is the concept is not hard, which is
make Feast great again.
Yeah, like the medals and everything like that. There's a general consensus, I think, and even in the JP, that like some things just weren't, some additions weren't done right, which like we as a community kind of want them to come to us and be like, hey guys, what do you want? Do you know what I mean? Like, but I don't think that's a style.
Several times now.
Yeah, but in retrospect, I don't think that's a style of a Japanese company. Like, we kind of have to tell them realistically. Like, I know they have a test server probably, but they won't let us in. And like, when it comes to the damn medals, like, so many people don't understand them. Money on the ground, right? Like, they're just gonna grab these coins, and
that's the first thing you got to do to get better at the game is to understand medals.
It's not difficult, you know what I mean? It's not that challenging, but there is some math on the fly at times. But just make it a little bit more like talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old, maybe. You know what I mean? Just maybe like make it more objective based. Like, all right, kill this dude. Like, I don't know, maybe more of that. But the battle system, I agree with. Just like the thread that we mentioned.
I mean, it's kind of weird too, because if you go in the front lines and you kill a lot of people, you're rewarded.
You are.
So it's kind of like a weird situation.
It's linear, right? Like,
yeah.
In Feast, you kill someone, you get like.
You kind of get punished.
For it. Yeah, you get punished for killing someone.
It's a handicap.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the last questions I want to finish up on here. This is from Kaz. Let's see. Do you have celebratory cottage cheese?
Get that castle, dude.
All right.
Can you guys explain the meme? Just explain it so people know what's going on.
I think Plus Juan can take that.
Yeah, so I think one day I was just late for something, and they were asking me what I was doing and what the holdup was, and I told them, because I was leveling culinarian, I'm like, I'm just making that cottage cheese, bro. and then it just stuck.
Such a small thing.
And he sent it to everybody.
Yeah,
I
had to mail one out to everyone, including Sir. If Sir's still watching, he can attest to that.
Cottage cheese.
Oh.
Send it to everyone on Balmung at the time.
Damn. All right. I think I have to wrap it up here. We are kind of getting... I'm going to be a little bit late, but it's going to be okay.
Can we do shout-outs?
Yeah, we're going to do shout-outs. We're going to do shout-outs, everybody. And kind of anything that you guys want to say, any events that are coming up, anything that you want to promote here too, please do it. And Plus, do you want to actually go first on that?
Yeah, I guess the big thing is we are planning to hopefully host another big community event on what was known as the Aether Cup before, which I think everyone here, or most everyone here was involved in. It was originally at the end of 3.0, so at the end of Heaven's Ward, we had this giant community tournament. It was the first community tournament actually for the Feast game mode, and the response was incredible. And hopefully we can do the same here as we're coming close to the end of 4.0, just to kind of have this last remnant of the height of PvP during this expansion. And as everyone said, you know, maybe we can go big with it, get multiple data centers, different regions in. But the name of it, it's before it was called the Aether Cup. We decided to rename it to Wolves Cup because we're planning to include different data centers, and also, of course, with this whole data center split, seemed more appropriate to rename it. So you can check that out, wolvescup.com or twitch.tv/wolvescup. So WOLVESCUP.
I guess we could put that in chat too. Plus, I'm gonna permit you plus the 1.
Okay.
Number 1.
Unrecognized command. Plus the 1. Maybe. Oh, I didn't put the exclamation point. Okay. There we go. Okay, and then we'll go alphabetically here again. Air, can you do any shout outs or last words that you want to do?
He's at work, unfortunately.
I thought Mateo was talking for him.
I'm answering for him. Yeah. Okay. Do your thing.
I'm shy.
Okay. That's fine.
Literally all he would say.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Buff Paladin.
All right. Divine, any shout outs, last thoughts you'd like to say?
Shout out to everyone that's watching and all the people who don't PvP. I know Feast is pretty, confusing, but you should give it a try.
You make it sound so exciting.
if you're struggling at first, we got a Discord called Wolves Pub Den. You can try it out, check it out, make friends. There's a bunch of other PvP Discords, but
I only recommend that one.
I would suggest Wolves Den Pub first. You want to try to get into it.
Okay. And I did a shout out here for Divine too. You guys could follow him. He does stream PvP every once in a while, so you guys should check him out. All right, Lynn.
Actually, yeah, I did want to mention that if there's anybody watching who would like to participate in light party matches, but don't have a team or don't have the capability to join the matches, there is actually a light party event coming up it's hosted by Eternal Arcadia. So please just message him or just join Wolf Pup's Den. They have a lot of announcements and information there if anybody wants to get into those light party matches.
All right. Nice. Good. Mateo?
Am I Mateo or am I Air this time?
You're Mateo. You're Mateo.
I'm Mateo. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I have to. Okay. Troll down a little bit. Okay. Shout out to Autumn Hollow. You're amazing, and I miss you. Hope you're recovering. And the other thing too, Nick, you can talk about the other thing. But really, what I'm just gonna kind of play a little bit about on what Divine said. If you're new to PvP and you're kind of struggling at the moment, there's a lot of resources. We can show you the door, you know what I mean? But you have to kind of walk through it. There is going to be a lot of challenges with learning the ropes, and
it's really not that bad. It's not that bad.
Listen, all right. So short story. I had somebody that I was helping. I gave them a plethora of resources, and I held their hand, and they played for 2 days, and then they gave up. It was just too hard. So what you want to do is you want to set yourself up for success and just put your nose down and work. Like, if you really want something, if you really want to get better at it, seek out the people that can make you better, and do not give up. You know what I mean? Like, giving up sucks. Don't do it. Just keep trying, keep beating your head against the wall if you really want to succeed. This community is amazing. And I must say, the general consensus of all the PvPers in the front row that were at the FRC, you guys know who you are. They did not care who won. All we cared for, honest to God truth, was that PvP gets more exposure and people see it for what it is. It's actually a very fun and complex, can be fun.
Right.
Complex and really exciting thing to do in Final Fantasy. So give it a shot. You know what I mean? I know Reddit fucking hates PvP for some reason, but you know what I mean?
So
like,
easy
give it
to
a
meme
shot.
on it.
Yeah, exactly. Give it a shot and join the community and make your impact for sure.
I mean, I do want to point this out. This is something that I think about constantly, and I'm sorry, I'll get to you in a second, Nakosa. But like the thought that PvP is like a toxic environment is completely dog shit. I mean, there's toxic people, right? There's toxic people in the PvE community. You don't do enough on your parse, they hate you, right? If you don't do well in a PvE match, people will say crap. People do that. I mean, it's just part of it. But there's so much more positive out there that negative is just kind of standing out because it hurts you in a little bit. You're like, I can't believe he said that to me. But in all honesty, there's a lot of really awesome people who are part of the PvP community that make it fun and enjoyable. And there's probably more in the PvP community than anywhere else. Hell, if I go to Walmart, I have toxic cashiers. Treats me like shit, right? It's just life. You're going to have shitty people out there, and you just have to understand they're just shitty people. It's not PvP. It's just, you just happen to run across a shitty person that plays
and it's
PvP.
like that in pretty much any competitive game. I don't think you'll find a single one where you won't meet at least a few, people like that.
Honestly, like for me, I'm just gonna cut in like just a small little bit. I think a lot of things said about PvP in this game are generally excuses. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be real. Like all this bullshit about netcode, deal with it. You know what I mean? Like if you really wanna like join the community, if you don't, just step away. Don't fucking talk about it. Pardon me. But like there's toxic people. Bullshit. That's an excuse. You know what I mean? It's too hard. Yeah, that's a valid reason. But are you gonna be a bitch about it, or are you gonna like push through? You know what I mean? Like, cut the excuses and just get in there and try. Like, make the community grow because it is an amazing community.
Yeah.
Just get in there and give it your best. If your best wasn't enough, try again. You know what I mean? Like that's what PvP is. It's very dynamic, and you should don't shit on it if you haven't tried it. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Don't be soft, man.
I mean, and people are going to be like a little bit, people, when they say crap, it's so that the people don't say crap to them first, right? It's like this whole like, hey, I'm putting up my wall for why I am not the reason we lost. And that's just because people have bad self-esteem issues. I mean, I have self-esteem issues. Other people have self-esteem issues. It's just part of life. And you're going to see stuff like that. And it's not because this is just, I surround myself as well with people that don't suck. I mean, that's part of what getting into a community is.
Fuck you, Frosty.
Hey,
no, I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ, my ears. Sorry for everybody on that. I mean, and that's kind of what you need to do to enjoy anything is to surround yourself with people that don't suck. And yeah, maybe you're putting yourself into this little circle away from everyone else, but you're happier. And you can still talk to other people. You can still do other stuff, but just don't stay away from people and then only have the experience of bad people in your life. Okay, sorry. Lots of life lessons there. Nakosa, follow up, please.
Okay, I don't think I can follow up from what Mateo just said, so son of a bitch.
Yeah.
But I think, just like shout out to, my team. Everyone did great. Shout out to the other teams too. I don't think I got to actually shout out Be Yourself, Amp, and Trash Tears. Everyone played really great. I think Frosty, if you get the chance down the road, do a MogTalk with them because each team has their own story to tell.
Right.
So they're all awesome people too. They'd have a good time. And then also finally, as Lynn kind of mentioned earlier, there is a Wolf Pup Den Discord right now that we're kind of changing and trying to make it more like a central PvP hub for not just new players, but for like everybody that wants to just kind of talk about PvP and just ask questions and find teammates and stuff. So be on the lookout for like a kind of like a rebrand of that happening soon. And
do you guys have a link for it that you can put in chat and tell me who's doing it?
Yeah, we'll post a link in a bit.
Okay.
I don't know if I have one right now, but if someone could post a Wolf Pups Den link, that'd be great.
Yeah, just ask for permission.
Yeah. And I think that's it. Yeah, just shout out to the other teams for sure.
Okay. Stragus?
Does I remember you said I can talk about something coming up.
Sure.
Does it have to be about Final Fantasy?
We're not talking about Smash, dude.
Oh my god, alright. Let's see. Alright, so shout out to all the people who helped us scrim, like General Esadesu, Last Boss, Autumn, Joji, John Galt, and everyone else who helped us scrim prior to the FRC. Shout out to all the people who came to FanFest and all the people I met there, all the PvP people I met, all the people who saw the tournament, you know, and approached us, you know, talk about how much they were excited about it. Shout out to them. And just shout out to people in general. I'm surprised it got as much exposure as it did. I'm surprised as many people watched it, and I'm glad that happened. That's all I have to say.
Okay. God, what's your name, Mateo? X Banana Juice. Y. I think. All right. Yeah, there you go.
X Banana Juicy.
Banana Juicy.
Okay. There's a link for you guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shout out to Banana Juice Hades on Primal.
That's right. That's my hero.
Oh, guys, thank you for coming on the show. It's been fun to have you here. I wish I had more time. And we could do this more. There's a lot of stuff coming up with the community. You'll probably hear about a lot of it in the Discord with Whoops Popped In, which is turning into, I think, PvPI's something. It's going to rebrand, right?
Still can't.
I still can't do it. I mean, there's.
You didn't say nothing.
Yeah, I didn't say nothing. Okay, there's the whole Discord out there that's like. There's lots of Discords out there that you guys can join in these little communities where people talk and everything. You just got to find the right one for you and what makes you happy. And that's, of course, a great starting ground. There's going to be lots of different light party events and other things that you guys can attend and just enjoy yourself with PvP. PvP is fun, and people will talk bad about it the same way that people talk bad about PvE. But, guys, we're going to have Lynn say one more thing real quick because she wants to say. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say thank you, everyone, so much for all the support just through the tournament and after and just everything, especially Chris and Phil. Thank you so much. I love you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, one more thing. Shout out to Clem and Rennie. Rennie.
Yeah, Rennie, you're the best.
Yeah.
And speaking of PvPiza, also shout out to Marshall
Renew.
He runs that site. Check it out for sure. Someone can post a link for that too.
I got it.
Okay.
I can actually say it on like Frosty. So.
How do you say it, Frosty?
PvPiza.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Kept coming in hot.
PvPiza. Come on, get on my
Pizza.
PV Pizza. PV Pizza.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, guys. It's been a great show. What?
Don't call me SiXX. Don't call me SiXX.
SiXX. Yeah. Thanks for changing your name to Mateo during the FRC, by the way. You punk. And plus, thank you as well, man. Thank you, everybody. This was a fun show. Hopefully, we can do some more PvP shows in the future. We do have another show coming up soon. We're going to be on State of the Realm. That's, I think, happening Tuesday. I'm not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure the time is going to be 2 p.m. PST, or that's what's planned at the moment. You guys should check that out on Mr. Happy's channel, which thank you for the host as well, Happy. And we're going to be there. It's Happy. Let me type it out. Yeah, you guys probably know what the Twitch channel is, but I'm going to type it out anyways. And we're going to be talking about that and hopefully advertising PvP even more over there. And having a pretty good time. I think Nikosa and Mateo are joining me for that chat. And I do want to do my shout-outs. Thank you very much to everyone who came to watch the show today. Thank you very much for the mods. Thank you very much for Carrara, who's been working actually a lot in the chat today. It's awesome to have her back here in the chat. She's also my emotional support and the reason I do everything in my life. If she wasn't there, then I'd probably be on a corner doing drugs or something. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah. Mass depression. She's beautiful, my wonderful new wife.
What was the picture I took?
She's a fucking frosty. She's also the person who cooked your dinner, Divine and Stragus and Nick. Just to let you know.
Yeah, I got a picture. Can I take a picture?
No, nice. I mean you can if you want to, but
yeah, okay. I was telling Frosty, I'm like, she's cooking away. Get in there, dude. Like,
I did some cooking.
Your wife wants to eat. Yeah, like one piece of chicken.
Come on.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
It was great. Anyways,
just sitting back. Sorry.
Anyways, guys, thank you as well to Blazana for the layout that I have manipulated 50,000 times over in the last couple of years and I've been working with. Thank you, Andre Kane, for the intro and the closing music. I couldn't find it because... thank you very much, Andre Kane, for the music that I used at the beginning, the remix of the Final Fantasy VII battle theme. And guys, with that all being said, next week we are doing a lore episode, which is a complete flip from this. With Ethis, he's going to come on and we're going to talk about the story and where it's probably going to go. Continue our FanFest series that we've been doing over the last, that we are going to be doing over the month.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. There's so much stuff going on in chat. Guys making as many memes as they can.
Yeah. Fried chicken.
And I'm 15 minutes late to work. Go ahead.
Oh shit.
Go
All
ahead.
I had to say is fried chicken. He started giggling like a little
Oh
squirrel.
my god, yeah.
That chicken was real good though.
It was
was
good.
mad
It was
good.
good. It was
Yeah,
good.
good fried chicken.
Was it good, Strigus?
Shut the fuck up.
All right, guys.
Oh,
Just see his stupid grin, dude.
I'm gonna cut you all off. We're gonna cut up. Okay, guys. See you all next week. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Everyone
See you
say
later.
bye.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Hey, Frosty.
Okay.